Excellent. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. It is my great honor, great pleasure to not only have the gentleman that you're going to hear from this evening here, but as a mentor and a good guide and friend as well. This gentleman for the past 28 years has been breaking records in the fields of sales, starting in the financial industry and now in the marketing industry and the network marketing industry. And he's actually built organizations that have numbered in the many tens of thousands. So he is an exceptionally experienced entrepreneur. He's a public speaker, a business coach, a mind mentor, an adventurer, and a philanthropist, and not through any foundation of some other organization or one he's created himself, just literally from his very own pocket and his heart, building homes in Africa and looking after families there, giving them that direct support to people that truly need it. So I incredibly admire that, and so do his children. He's a tremendous father of 8. His entire life has really been a life on purpose and a search for even greater purpose. He has a true determination, sincere determination to make a difference, to have an impact, to better people's lives and to be a force for good in the world, and to leave a legacy for his children. And again, I'm really pleased to have him here. So this is Malcolm Sword, Ambassador Triple Diamond with ASEA. Thank you so much for having us, for being here with us, I should say, sir, and for having us in your home.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So good evening, everyone, and welcome. And once again, thanks, Stevie, for hosting. So thanks for running the presentation. So for those of you that are here for the very first time, welcome. And I hope that this will be meaningful and potentially life-changing for you, as it was for me just a few short years ago. There's really a couple of parts to this presentation. I'm going to explain a little bit about what this technology is, redox signaling molecules are. I'm not going to dive deep into the science because I'm not a scientist. I'm not from a medical background. I'm not an atomic medical physicist, but I was able to recognize the potential of this technology and have been very blessed to be able to have the opportunity of taking this to many markets around the world and develop a large organization already in the past few years. So I'm going to also talk about the opportunity, the business opportunity. I'll talk about both, share a little bit about the company, the founders, a little bit about the technology, and then we'll, towards the end, talk about the business opportunity. So welcome, and let's start. Stevie, if you could roll over to the very next slide. So this is Redox Molecules. ASEA is the name of the company. This is a US-based biotech company. It's based out of Utah, Salt Lake City in Utah. That's the headquarters, and the distribution center is in Pleasant Grove, Utah. And so the name of the company is called ASEA. And the technology, which I'm going to explain with you or share with you this evening, is called Redox Signalling Molecules. Many scientists are hailing it the greatest health and life science breakthrough of our time. The very first time I heard that statement was actually nearly 5 years ago when I first went to visit the company, the headquarters in Utah, with a good friend of mine, Danny Doyle. And the gentleman sitting next to me, who was an atomic medical physicist, he made a statement. He said, "We believe this is the most significant health breakthrough since penicillin." Big statement, and I didn't really understand it at that time, and have since understood that this is a very significant health breakthrough. So if that's, when you first look at that, if that's a big statement, I agree. It was when I first heard it as well. Thanks, Stevie. Next slide, please. So the business model itself is based on referral-based business model. It's actually the best way of moving a product to market, and often people are surprised when I say that, but it is the number one method of moving a product into the market. Number two, by the way, is SEO, search engine optimization. But the number one product, the number one method of moving a product to the market is this way. referral. So it's by, if you watch a good movie, you generally talk about it. Equally, if you watch a bad movie, you either won't talk about it or you will talk about it. People won't go and see it based on your recommendation or lack of recommendation. So this is a business that enables people to generate an income, a serious income if you want, on a part-time basis without changing what you're currently doing. You build it part-time initially, then move to full-time if that's your desire. The business itself, let me share with you, is a smorgasbord. So you can come to a business like this. There are people that I have in my own organization that want to generate just an extra $200 or $300 a month. That's fine. They're welcome. We can share how to do that. There's other people that want to create $1,000 a month. There's people that want to create $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month. And from there, we have people that want to create a residual income and exit strategy and create north of $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, up to many hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. So it's a smorgasbord. So what you want to take out of a business like this is really up to you. Thank you, Stevie. So the company, as I just mentioned, is called ASEA. This is the global headquarters. This is their premises, new premises that they completed about maybe a little over a year ago in Utah, in Salt Lake City in Utah. And ASEA is the global leader in redox signaling-based health and anti-aging technologies. Not only is it the leader, it's the only company in the world. One of the things that I appreciated as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, is to have a technology like this, even though most people have never heard of redox signaling molecules. They are, and they will learn about the significance of redox molecules. But it's the only company in the world that produces it. We run very heavy patents. When I say we, the company, ASEA, runs very heavy patents on this technology, and those patents roll forward in excess of 20 years. So it'll be a long, long time before anybody gets into this space. So to be able to take something like this to the markets of the world is truly unique. I share with people, I'll never see anything like this again in my lifetime. And, I've treated the business like that. I've treated the business, exactly like the gift that I believe it is, to have a technology that's so significant with no competitor. So not only is ASEA the global leader, it's the only company in the world that produces these molecules, these redox-based signaling molecules. Thanks, Stevie. The gentleman on the left of the screen, his name is Vertus Norton. He's the original founder of this company, ASEA. And Vertus's background, he'd come from Kraft Foods. Most of you would have heard of Kraft Foods. And he was the senior strategist for Kraft, $38 billion company. And Vertus is one of the main reasons that I'm developing this business, helping him to take this technology to market. He's probably one of the most, if not the most significant human being I've met in my entire lifetime. He has now retired effectively from the company. He still sits on the board. But in terms of the running of the company, he's now in his 80s, in his early 80s, very special human being. And I remember the very first time I met him back in 2015, and the timing at that point wasn't right for me to build a business. But my heart was telling me when I met him, here's somebody I want to do business with. Here's a man that had a massive integrity, massive decency. And he was just somebody my heart felt that I want to do business. I want to do business with this man. There's a very good link you can watch if you're here for the first time. There's a very good short video you can watch. It runs for about 11, 12 minutes, called The Genesis of ASEA. And so if you go into the search bar and put in the Genesis, Genesis of ASEA, you'll see part of the story of how Vertus came to acquire this technology. The company is now run by his son, Tyler. There's an old saying, isn't it, that the fruit never falls far from the tree, and it's certainly applicable in this case. He's also an incredible young man, incredible human being, and very competent, both of these men as business builders. Vertus was a strategist for a $38 billion company. So you can understand why many believe we will be a tens of billions of dollars worth of turnover company eventually. So thanks, Stevie. So the company, the Redox technology was based on many years of research. In fact, the research initially started in 1998 after 3 Italian scientists won a double Nobel Prize for understanding the significance of redox signaling molecules in the human body. Prior to 1998, it was understood, or thought anyway, that redox molecules served no real purpose in the human body. It was like, they thought there was like a waste out of the cells, like an emission, like a car, blowing off smoke, that it served no real purpose. And after these 3 Italian scientists discovered the significance, the very essence of redox signaling molecules and how important they are in a human body. The race was really on then to try and replicate those redox molecules outside of the human body, in spite of the fact that many scientists in America said it was impossible. They deemed it impossible. So it was based on many, many years of research, and many millions of dollars of R&D research dollars went into this. Thanks, Stevie. As a company, we've had significant growth year on year. In 2018, the company grew at 50% in 1 year. In 2019, we grew at 50% again. Many of you that are business-minded, looking at this maybe from a business point of view, will understand the significance of a company when it gets on the J curve. And we are now well on the J curve. We now operate, I'll show you in a minute, 34 countries. Sales in 2019 were a little over 183 million and US dollars turnover. And we project we'll take this company to $1 billion within the next 5 to 7 years. Many of us want to do that as fast as we can. Many of us want to see this that being accomplished while Virtus is still with us as a payback, as a gift back to him. So many of us are diligently doing what we can to encourage and help this company get to $1 billion. And we hope that you will join us and help us in that quest. So ASEA is perfectly positioned ahead of the growth that will come in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, as we take this technology to the markets of the world. 3 very big markets: health, wellness, and anti-aging industries. Big markets, huge markets. Thanks, Stevie. So here's a snapshot of the management, 200 years of industry experience. Many come with many, many years of experience in this industry. And some of the finest people I've ever been in business with. On the right-hand side, you can see a number of people in the science and medical advisory board, medical professionals, some doctors, Dr. David Silverman, a pediatric surgeon, Dr. Maureen Hayes, GP, Dr. Foster Malmed, chiropractor, Carl Smith, chiropractor, many from different walks of life, some of whom have laid down their medical professions to help us to deliver this technology to the market, including Dr. David Silverman, Dick Walker, Dr. Dick Walker, a trauma surgeon also has done that. Many people from the medical professions are joining us, not just in America, but around the world now as we progress and move this technology to the markets. Thanks, Stevie. So here's, you can see the dark colored countries. Interestingly enough, we're now operating in about 34 countries around the world, but even in those countries, less than 1% of the population has even heard of this technology. We are doing our very best to expand, to promote, to talk about this. In my own case, last year, I was in 17 different countries, pushing the cause and spreading the word about redox signaling molecules. It's a big task ahead of us, and that's why we look for people. We look for entrepreneurs and visionary people to help us to take this technology. There are more areas there, more countries that we're not involved in. Right now, there's over 200 countries in the world. We operate in about 34 countries. So you can see the potential as we move this to the markets of the world. So here's the growth that we've had in the past few years, and so you can see that we're now well on the J curve. It was always going to take a period of time to stabilize this and to build it. Being a new technology and being something brand new to the market, it takes a while. Many people don't know this, but when I ask people when did they first hear or about the significance of antioxidants, most people say probably sometime in the mid-1980s. Well, the significance of antioxidants was discovered in the 1920s. That took 60 years. So if you look at a snapshot of how fast we are growing, we're actually doing very well, but we can do better. And so we aim to do better, and hence the reason we run these kind of webinars to find other people that want to help us and to drive this into the markets, the many markets of the world that are already open and the ones that are yet to open. Thanks, Stevie. So the technology, these redox signaling molecules, they are significant in the human body, obviously, and we're involved in 3 of the world's biggest industries. The anti-aging, and collectively they're over $4 trillion worth of business. The health and wellness, beauty and anti-aging, athletic performance. And we have some of the most unique products in the world in these industries. And because this technology has no toxicity, we have no toxicity. We don't need FDA approval. Often people will ask, has it got FDA approval? The plant is FDA approved. It must be, and it is. The technology, the product doesn't need FDA approval. It does not, it's not a drug. It's body native. You have these redox molecules native to the human body. These redox molecules are identical to the redox molecules you have in your body. So we don't need FDA approval because it's not a drug. It has no toxicity. Interestingly, a substance, a product that needs FDA approval, a chemical or pharmaceutical product, must have a level of toxicity that can kill you. So it has to have a lethal dose. When it's got a lethal dose, and they can categorize, okay, lethal dose is 50. If you take 50 times too much, it'll kill you. The Redox Molecules hasn't got a lethal dose. This stuff has. Water has. You can die from ingesting too much water, but you can't die from ingesting too much Redox Molecules because it's body native. So these are three very big markets that we operate in. Thanks, Stevie. So the products that can do things that no other product can do, because again, they're the only products in the world that contain these redox signaling molecules. So from a business point of view, again, it's a category creator. It's unique, no competitor. And as we take this to the markets of the world, a very exciting window that we have, opportunity we have to be able to deliver these incredible products to the market. Thanks, Stevie. Before and after, I won't dwell on these. There's an old saying, picture paints 1,000 words. Let me just talk briefly about the lady on the left-hand side of your screen. The photo on the top left and the one on the bottom left were taken 3 weeks apart. Her name is Redox Bone. She's a naturopath in Norway. And many years ago, 8 or 9 years ago, a friend of hers sent her a tube of the gel version of the redox signaling molecules, and fortunately asked her to take a photo before she started using the product. After a few weeks, Redox called a friend back in America and said, look, I don't think this is doing anything for me at all. And a friend said, Redox, did you take a photo as I asked before you started? And she said, yeah, I did. She said, I did take a photo. She said, okay, well, let's have a look at that. And let's have a look at a photo now. Those two photos were 3 weeks apart. I think you can visibly see that there's quite a clear difference. And there continues to be a difference. I was in Hawaii in December last year, and Redox there was a conference, a convention with ASEA, and she was at that conference, and I'm looking at her neck, and her neck is actually, I've got a photo of it, it's actually even better than that. So many years later, it continues to improve. So you can see the difference, the before and after shots. What's interesting about these photos is that you can clearly see the visible difference. And if this is what the technology is doing from the outside in, you can also understand what the technology does from the inside out, albeit you can't see it. You can't look in the inside. Doctors have told me about this technology. This product cannot not work. Because it is body native, it cannot not work. The length of time before you visibly see or feel changes will vary from person to person, but it physically cannot work. This is a skincare range. I'm not going to go into this too much, but the two products on the right contain redox signaling molecules, the RENU 28, the one I've just mentioned. Topical version, just make sure you shake that, activate the molecules before you use it. And then the product next door is the needle nose, the dark blue needle nose, is even more concentrated. So the RENU 28 is potentially 2 to 3 times, it might be more concentrated than that of the liquid, but it's more concentrated than the liquid. And then the serum in the blue needle nose is even more concentrated. And people say, well, why don't I just use a serum? Well, you can, it's just more expensive. Use a serum on your face, on the back of your hands, heavy scarring, that kind of thing. And then the two products on the left do not contain redox molecules. There's a cleanser on the extreme left, and then a moisturizer next to it. They don't contain redox molecules. This is a set, a skincare system, a skincare set, and this was created in 2016 at the behest of many associates around the world that wanted to have their own skincare system. So this was released in the middle of 2016. Thanks, Stevie. So this is the signature, the marquee product. This was the first product that ASEA came to market with back in 2010, and it was the only product, that they came to market with for 2 or 3 years. This was the only product they had. It was 3 years after that they developed the gel, the RENU 28 gel, and then from that the serum, and then other products have flowed as a result of it, the skincare system and other supplements, nutritionals. But this is the marquee product. This is our point of difference. When we take this technology, this opportunity to market, this is the point of difference. Nobody else has these redox signaling molecules in the world. Thanks, Stevie. Many athletes use the product. Can't be drug tested with this. For this, it's not a drug. You can drink as much as you like. Many Olympic athletes have used it. Cody Miller, top left. Eddie Hall, bottom right, is a powerlifter, lifted dead weight, 500 kilos. So many of the top athletes claim they have more resilience, recover faster as a result of using the redox signaling molecules. There's a link I'll share with you in a minute that you can have a look at. Thanks, Stevie. So again, the cells, the redox molecules, the drink liquid inside out and the gel outside in. So what are redox molecules? Well, they're naturally produced inside your body, inside every single cell. So in spite of the fact that many people, many doctors even, have never heard of redox signaling molecules, they are body native. You have these in your body, and they detect cell damage so they can be repaired or replaced. And the other thing, they increase the cell's production of glutathione, which is the most powerful antioxidant, protects against cell damage and oxidative stress. And fundamental for the immune system, protecting against harmful bacteria. Now, we can't make any claims, but let me just read this statement again. Fundamental for the immune system, protecting against harmful bacteria, viruses, and infection. Again, we can make no claims because it's not a drug, but you can read into that what you will. So one of the other questions people ask me is, well, Mal, if I already have these redox molecules in my body, why would I supplement? Why would I need to take more of these redox molecules and pay for them? And the answer is that we maximize the production naturally of these redox signaling molecules at puberty, around 12 to 14 in there. And every decade past puberty, we drop production 10%. We actually decrease the production of our redox molecules about 1% per annum, so 10% per decade. So at my age, I would naturally be producing about 20% of what I was producing when I was at puberty. And you'll all be aware that if a teenager falls over, a young, 12-year-old, 4-year-old, 14-year-old falls over and grazes themselves, they heal really fast and they bounce back really quickly. And a lot of that's to do with the significance and the abundance of redox signaling molecules. Whereas you take an 80-year-old and they fall over and graze themselves and hurt themselves, it takes a lot longer. And a lot of the responsibility that is because of the depletion of the redox signaling molecules. Thanks, Stevie. Many peer-reviewed books and articles are written, 32,000 peer-reviewed articles. Many universities now around the world are now teaching about the significance of redox signaling molecules. Remember, it's still a very young science. The discovery was only made in 1998, so we're 22 years in. This company that produces these redox molecules has only been operational now for since 2010, so 10 years. In fact, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary in October. So still very young to market, but there is a fast-growing amount of research. One of the best sites you can go to do your own research. Please don't just go to Google. Google is a search engine. It's not a research engine, but go to Google Scholar or go to PubMed, P-U-B, Public Medicine, pubmed.gov. It's an American site. And you can look up in PubMed, you can look up redox signaling molecules and heart disease, or redox molecules and diabetes, various things you can look up. Redox molecules are redox molecules. And again, this is the only company in the world that produces these bioactive, stabilized redox signaling molecules. For decades, scientists try to produce molecules outside the body because of their significant importance for health and vitality. But as I mentioned before, most of the scientists, or all the scientists in America, said to Virtus, you'll never stabilize them. They're highly active. They're fleeting in the human body like that. And to trap them and hold them was deemed impossible. And it actually took Dr. Gary Samuelson. I'll share a little bit about him in a minute. So after 2 decades and millions of research dollars, ASEA scientists managed to produce stabilized redox molecules. There was another company that made the running initially. It was another biotech from Utah, and made the running on this technology, ran out of money, and then Virtus acquired the technology with a business partner. When the other company started to sell down their assets, and he actually bought the technology, but prior to it being stabilized. So it was probably a big risk, but he believed absolutely in the potential of this, and for some reason he did believe he could stabilize these redox signaling molecules. Thanks, Stevie. So the patented production process, and therefore the only company in the world, we've mentioned that several times, products containing these vital molecules. This is the plant, Pleasant Grove, Utah. This plant can scale to $1 billion easily, quickly. They already own the block of land next door, and that can be scaled as well. So the potential to scale this is not a problem. We can scale this fast. We can scale this very quickly. And of course, it's their intention to scale it very, very quickly as we move into more markets, as we penetrate deeper into the Asian region, the Asian markets. We're currently open in 6 Asian countries. As we move into some of the bigger markets of Asia, some of the bigger countries, the volume and the turnover will explode in those bigger populated regions. In my opinion, Asia will be the largest and fastest growing region for this technology in the world. When people ask me that, they say, why do I say that? 3 reasons. Number one, it's the biggest population base in the world. Number two, the Asians generally love to look younger. And one of the properties of this technology is anti-aging with no toxicity. So the Asians really love the fact that it is an anti-aging technology. And the third thing from a commercial point of view is that the Asians work very hard. They do tend to work hard, it's competitive in their markets, and so they're used to working hard to get ahead. And so they get hold of a business like this, and they work very hard and very swiftly, very quickly to build business. The organisations that I have that are in the Asian countries are growing incredibly quickly, and again, we're just beginning to reach into those very big markets. Thanks, Stevie. One of the things, if people go to Google, and I've had this over the years many times, people go to Google, and one of the things that pops up is they say it's just expensive salt water. And when I first began my journey with ASEA, I didn't really know how to answer that. It was like, well, no, it's not. It's their redox molecules. And I was, oh, well, it says in Google, it's just expensive salt water. And of course, anybody can put anything up. And you can imagine that there are companies out there, and I won't mention who they are or what they are, but there are companies out there that might not be very excited about this technology and the potential of this technology, given that it is not toxic, it can't hurt anybody, and can only help people. So there's three reasons why you can be assured, common sense reasons really, why you can be assured that it's not, this is not just expensive salt water. The first one is that Vertis Norton, who is the senior strategist of Kraft Foods, very clever man, very clever strategist, very clever businessman. But how on earth would he go to the Pacific Ocean and get a bucket of salt water and take it to the patents office and say, listen, can you give me over 40 patents on this stuff, please? It's ridiculous. Common sense would tell you that's ridiculous. Secondly, second test you can use is put salt water in one of your eyes. Put salt water in your right eye, and tell me how that feels. And you know how it's going to feel. Your eye will be red, sore, weeping, maybe bloodshot. And then put redox molecules, which I put in my eyes every single day. Put redox molecules into your left eye, and tell me if there's a difference. You will notice within seconds that there's a difference. One eye will be soothed, and the other eye will be weeping. It'll be sore. That's the second test. And the third one, of course, is this one: is that every fourth batch, you can see the batches, the big vats there in the plant in Pleasant Grove, Utah. Every fourth batch is certified by this company, BioAgilytix. There's no cross ownership between ASEA and BioAgilytix. BioAgilytix is an independent laboratory that works for 20 of the top 25 pharmaceutical companies, big pharmas in the world. And they certify with every fourth batch that they test that they're full of bioactive redox signaling molecules. BioAgilytix would not certify that these this technology is full of bioactive redox signaling molecules if it was just salt water. They would lose their business would be lost, and they would simply not stay in business. So they're three common sense. I'm going to put up 3 fingers, not 4 fingers. There are 3 common sense reasons why you can rest assured that these are bioactive redox signaling molecules. Thank you, Stevie. This is the gentleman Danny and I first went to look at this company, this technology. And when Danny and I first went to look at this, we did not go looking for commercial reasons. We were both there for health reasons, our individual health reasons. I won't go through those now. And I sat next to this gentleman, Dr. Gary Samuelson, atomic medical physicist. And he was the man during the course of the afternoon in the boardroom that made the statement, we believe this is the most significant health breakthrough since penicillin. And I didn't say anything, but at the time I thought, wow, that's a big statement. And as I thought about that, as the cogs of my brain turned over, I thought, well, hang on a minute, Mal, who are you to dispute that? What is your level of experience and expertise in this area? And I thought, well, none. And then I thought, well, do you think maybe an atomic medical physicist might know a little bit more about what he just said than you did? And of course I had to answer, well, yes, of course he would. He's also written a book. This book is quite readable, actually. If you just click on Stevie, we'll just show the book. It's called The Science of Healing Revealed. Whilst many of the other books on redox signaling molecules are heavy, they're very heavy going. This is a very user-friendly, if I could put it that way, book to read. And it says the redox signaling process is remarkable because it is a process that allows us to regenerate tissue and maintain our normal function and capacities. This technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health that we've ever seen. Again, big statement. And again, I've been with this company now for 4 years, and what I have seen this technology do in that period of time for people is incredible. Thanks, Stevie. We call this man the half-faced man. He's a chiropractor from America, from the United States. I think his name is Dr. Moran. And he wanted to test the efficacy of the product So you can see what he did. He used the RENU 28 on the the right-hand side of his face, left of our screen. But on the right-hand side of the face, he used the RENU 28 for 1 month on one side of his face and not the other. And you can visibly see the difference. Look at for example, the lean on the glasses. It looks like he's almost got Bell's palsy on the left-hand side of his face, the right side of the screen. Look at the graining. Look at the difference in the markers of his face. Now, after a month, his wife said to him, "You look ridiculous. Start using the product on all of your face." But he did this specifically to see, does this technology, does this product make a difference in that period of time in 30 days? It's called RENU 28 because our skin cells change every, turnover every 28 days. Thanks, Stevie. Okay, so you can see again the difference. This man used the product for 3 days, twice a day for 3 days, and once for 3 days. Most people, when we share this technology with them, the protocols that ASEA has now after 10 years of being in business, the protocols they've watched is that about 2 to 5% of the population, 2 to 5% of people will see results. I've had people see results using and applying this technology within hours, but let's say 2 to 5% see a result in a matter of days. 30% see a result in 30 days, 60% in 60 days, and 90% in 90 days. Now, some take a little bit longer. My dear old auntie, who's 89 years of age, it was 4.5 months before she saw a major shift in her health as a result of taking the product. That was in the early days of using the product, and when I didn't know quite as much about this technology as I do now, but she kept taking it. She kept taking the product, using the product, probably because I was paying for it, and I still do for her. She's 89 today. She's probably in better health today than she was when she was in her 60s. And a lot of that has to do with her taking this product now for 4 years. Thanks, Stevie. So you can see the visible signs of before and after using the Redox molecules. Thanks, Stevie. This is a condition, I won't mention its name, it's not appropriate for me to do that, but this was a condition that I struggled with, and the reason that I went to look at this technology initially was because of this situation, this particular challenge, skin challenge. It's an autoimmune problem, which I had for many, many years, over 40 years. Had tried everything, had used everything, and this was the only technology that I found that has helped since I started taking the product a few years ago. Thanks, Stevie. So again, you can see visible signs. They say picture paints 1,000 words. Just drop your eyes down underneath the little red square on the left and the right. Although you can see visibly the difference in the little red box in the blemishes on her cheek, but have a look at the skin, the elasticity of the skin on her cheek, underneath her neck on the left-hand side of the photo and the right-hand side of the photo. Thanks, Stevie. So we have independent studies. The company on the top is Stevens & Associates, US-based company. They did a study on the RENU 28, 4-week study. Significant change, significant improvement with the markers, especially the second one down, 50% increase in the blood flow from using this product. Again, US-based company. The company down below, underneath, is a company called Dermatest, German company. And Dermatest did a 2-month study on the RENU 28, in the serum, the RENU serum, which was the product I mentioned before in the needle nose. It's a lot more concentrated. And Dermatest gave that product, the serum, a 5-star rating. They won't give a 5-star rating to any product where if one of the respondents has an adverse effect, they won't give it a 5-star rating. And so look at the improvement in the markers over an 8-week study for the participants, 100% improvement in fine lines. I mean, those are huge markers. Those are huge changes. And again, no toxicity. Again, no adverse effects, no toxicity. And after 4 weeks, from a marketing point of view, from a business point of view, these are the kind of things that you want to see. After 4 weeks, 90% of the trial participants said they wanted to purchase the product. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't 100. If you got those kind of improvements, unless they were on a bunch of 20-year-olds. But, so significant response to the efficacy and the use of the product. Thanks, Stevie. Just keep moving through this. So again, what happens when we use the redox molecules on the inside? Again, people report less fatigue, better sleep, improved health, improved mood, and less discomfort. Oftentimes when people start using the product, we live in a very instant society and people want to see a result immediately. They want to see a response very quickly. And I've had people say, oh, look, don't worry about letting me have a case or trialing for a month. I just want to use, a bottle or half a bottle. The challenge with that is if you give a bottle to one person, the next person will say, well, give me a half a bottle. The next person will say, well, give me a sip. And they've got a serious problem. And if it doesn't help them, then, well, the product doesn't work. It's just not reasonable, but oftentimes people maybe are not quite as reasonable as they should be. The product is again, as I mentioned before, there is a process to this, or a process to seeing changes. What I often do if somebody says to me, look, I'm completely well, I'm completely healthy, nothing wrong, but they want to see a result, quickly. It's just the way people are. What I will often do is the maintenance dose on the product is a bottle a week. It's a litre a week. What I will do is start on the first month on a double dose. That's 2 bottles a week. And they're more likely to feel that very quickly. And once they feel that, better mood, better sleep, better levels of energy, then they understand and feel the benefits of using the product. And those are people that are well. Again, remember what I said before, that the doctor said these redox molecules, they cannot not work. In spite of the fact you might not see it or feel it, it can't not work because of the fact these are body native. These molecules are body native. Thanks, Stevie. Just watching my time a little bit. Significant improvement for athletes. Again, can't be drug tested for this. Improvement in endurance, strength, recovery, stamina. Thanks, Stevie. But we're all athletes. We all live busy lives these days with children, business, work, exercise, just life. Many of us are busier today than we were 10 years ago, or 20 years, or 30 years ago. It's just the nature of our world these days. And so most of us are looking to increase our stamina and increase our endurance and, feel better for longer and live longer, but live longer better. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better and longer. And so this is a technology that speaks to that and helps with that. Thanks, Stevie. So this is the link I was referring to, athletes.aseaglobal.com. Again, you can see a variety of different athletes, from Olympians, former Olympians, and current Olympians, champions that use this technology. We believe that in the next 5 to 10 years, if you're an athlete, if you're a professional athlete, that you will be at a disadvantage if you do not use this technology. Interestingly enough, it's a group that I've done some work with, and it's a group that I've found that oftentimes the athletes are less reluctant to refer it to their competitors than, say, in a normal sense. When we talk about referral marketing, word of mouth marketing, often the highly competitive athletes maybe don't want to share the benefit they're getting from this technology with other people that they might be competing with, and you can understand why, I suppose. Thanks, Stevie. Very quickly, this is a report from Huffington Post. This was an article June 2016, and here are 5 of the craziest game-changing technologies that are starting to take off in 2016: organic electronics, nutrigenomics, synthetic biology, and redox signaling technology. And I want to remind you that nobody else in the world produces redox signaling molecules except ASEA. It's the only company in the world. Very good website you can go to at the top left of a screen there, www.aseascience.com, and to give you a lot of information about the product, about what ASEA redox signaling molecules are. Let me just read this to you quickly. Redox signaling molecules have been around for eons, but it isn't until recently we've learned about their central importance in our health and on a cellular level. New technologies are emerging to insert healthy cell redox signaling molecules into your body, helping to repair and replenish aging cells. Since we're made up entirely of cells, every organ in the body can potentially benefit from this new technology. And this new technology is redox signaling molecules from this company, ASEA. Thanks, Stevie. All right, let's go into the little bit about the business plan. So generating serious income, rate referrals as in a restaurant. So it's a word of mouth model. We look for people, and there's really 2 categories of people that we look for as we drive this to the market. So if you're looking at this for the very first time and you say, okay, well, who do we connect with? Who do we look for? Who do we contact? There are really 2 groups of people that we would take this to. There's a group of people that we know that are either athletes, or they are unwell, or they're looking for to look after their health, for other endurance or longevity, or to protect their health. So there's people that are going to be very much looking at the product from the product point of view. The second group of people are then looking for the people who would want to generate an income, whether it's $100 a month or whether it's $100,000 a month. So we look for the entrepreneurs, we look for the visionaries, we look for the builders, the developers, and the people who want to help us to deliver this to the market. Benefit of this, of course, we have a protected space. It's not capital based. We don't need capital. We're already capitalized, so you don't need to bring capital to the table. We're already capitalized. So with our model, you get paid every time your friends go back. So effectively, when people ask, how do you make money from a business like this? We make money on this by volume. And so what we do is we create the distribution channels for ASEA. We create their distribution channels, and it's built word of mouth. It's built from person to person to person. Now, if you build a business, build an organization, and you've got 5 people in your business, 5 people in your organization, there's not going to be a lot of volume. There's not going to be a lot of income. But if you build an organization properly with 50,000 people or 100,000 people, that's a lot of volume and that's a lot of income. And once it grows, once you build it properly, it will beget itself. It will continue to grow and grow and grow. Now, it doesn't happen in 2 days. There is a process to building a business like that. But you refer contacts to us. Initially, we'll help you. What we don't do is open your account, so good luck. So you work with the person that invited you. We have a lot of training to help you and teach you and coach you how to build a business like this. In my case, I've been in the industry, as Stevie was saying, for a very long time. Thanks, Stevie. So the benefit of building a business like this is that it creates residual income. People often ask, what does that mean, Mel? What is residual income? Residual income is having an income that will continue to be there and to continue to pay you even if you step away. If you read a very good book called Cash Flow Quadrant by an author called Robert Kiyosaki, you might have heard of a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. His sequel to that was a book called Cash Flow Quadrant, and he actually explained what residual income is. And it talks about this business model, this networking model, as one of the best ways of being able to produce a residual income. And the test on it, as he says, is if you can stand away from the business and your income for a year and your income is unaffected by your absence, you've created residual income. Now, it's not likely that you're going to be able to do that in 2 weeks. It's going to take a process of time to be able to do that. If people say, well, how long is that time? It depends on how fast you work, depends on your connectivity, depends on who you know, depends on how many leaders that you attract and how many other markets you're involved in. It could take 12 months, it could take 3 years to 5 years. Generally, we would say it would take 2 to 5 years. To build a business properly, if you've built it properly, you put the time in, 2 to 5 years to produce a residual income that will continue to pay you for the rest of your life and willable. So the income that I've created with this company in 4.5 years, is now a legacy for my 8 children. Thanks, Stevie. So you'll also be paid from the contacts. Again, it's word of mouth. It's person to person. And, some people will just carry the business to somebody, and then somebody will introduce somebody in Singapore or in Thailand or in Taiwan. And that person understands the significance. They're ready to do business. They're looking for an opportunity, and they build an organization of thousands and thousands of people. And in this way, this is what we create, these distribution channels around the world. And you're free to create the distribution channels in many sectors of the world. You can create these distribution channels in Europe, you can create these distribution channels in Australasia, and you can create these distribution channels in Europe, in the Americas. And so ultimately, if you help us and you build a business with us, your organizations, as mine do now, will span the globe. They'll span every sector, every country, every market that we're in, and we'll continue to do that as we roll out into other countries and other markets around the world. So again, we're in 34 countries, 200 countries. You can see we've got a long way to go. Thanks, Stevie. So what you do is completely up to you. Again, as I mentioned, it's a smorgasbord. The business is designed to do part-time around your existing schedule. Now, you transition part-time to full-time. When you do that, well, you do that probably when the income that you're generating from your ASEA business is greater than the income that you have from working on a full-time basis. How long does that take? That could take you 6 months. It could take you 2 years. It really depends on you. It depends on your ability, depends on your ambition. Some people are highly ambitious and build this very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. I've had people that have been able to build a very substantial income in 3 months. Other people, it takes them 3 years. It's different. Everybody's a little bit different in terms of their desire and their motivation. Thanks, Stevie. The cost to open your account with ASEA is $60, no barrier to entry, lots of packages. I won't go through those this evening. You can discuss those various packages. They range from about $350 to about $3,000. Really depends on your own financial situation and how fast you want to develop this as a business. Thanks, Stevie. Lots of different ways to earn income, 8 different ways to generate income. Suffice to say, volume-based. The bigger your organisation, the bigger the volume you're creating. For ASEA, they will pay you on results. This is a free enterprise-based business, not based on capital, but based on our ability to connect with people, to communicate the message with people, and to communicate the opportunity with people. So those people that do it well and those people that are diligent and work diligently, work hard, generate a very substantial, very serious residual income. But again, a smorgasbord. You take out of this what you want. So the business is simple. Let's just keep moving, Stevie, through these. Very simple. We have lots of training. It's like working your way up at the mountain. We'll see that in a minute. So you start at associate. We all start there. And then you work your way up the mountain. Different income levels in Australia. The bronze executive level, you can see that's 4 levels up. That's the first executive rank where you, if you build it properly, participate in the EMP, executive momentum pool. And a good bronze executive in Australia will earn somewhere between $2,500 to $3,000 per month. And if it's built properly, that'll be month after month after month after month when built properly. How long does that take? Generally, if you're diligent, you can do that in somewhere between, let's say, 2 to 5 months. In there as a guide. That's a good guide. Some people do it faster than that. I've had people do that in 3 weeks, and I've had some people that it's taken 12 to 18 months to do. Really depends on your effort and how much time you put into doing that. And then we go all the way up to, let's say, the diamond level. You can see there in Australia, the average income of a diamond will be around $18,000 to $20,000 per month when built properly and with the diamond bonus. So you'll receive help and training as you move up, but the journey is progressive. You won't go from associate to diamond in a week. There's a process. It's like climbing. I climbed Kilimanjaro a number of years ago, and it's one step at a time. You go up the mountain step at a time. You don't jump to the summit. It's a process to work your way through and to the mountaintop. Thanks, Stevie. When you open your account, you get a back office, very easy to navigate. I'm not super high tech, most of you know that, but very easy to navigate around the ASEA office, back office, very user friendly, even for somebody of my vintage, if I could put it that way. Thanks, Stevie. ASEA has become one of the biggest companies within the health, wellness, and anti-aging industries of all time. Absolutely. Many of us are convinced this is going to be a company that won't be just a billion-dollar company. It'll be a company ultimately, and it might take 10 years, 15 years from now, to be a tens of billions dollars worth of company. It has to be. We're still early to market, still very early days. You are still seeing this in the pioneering stage. Please don't think you've missed the boat. You haven't. We're still very early days, and we very much are looking for entrepreneurs, business-minded people, and especially younger entrepreneurs, people in their their 30s and their 40s, looking for an exit strategy. You might be looking at this and thinking, wow, wouldn't it be great to have an exit strategy? So in the next 2, 3, 4 years, I can develop a significant residual income, have the time to enjoy the money to enjoy the time, and free to do more of the things you want to do and less of the things that you don't want to do. And that's what most of us want in our life, the ability to have freedom. It's a great option. Thanks, Stevie. So time for action, quick start training. Let's just go through this. You're looking to identify and refer us to people who want to make some changes now. So now we're getting into the business, the construction of the business. Who do we look for? Well, we look for ambitious people. We look for entrepreneurs. We look for people that are business minded. We look for people that want to generate an additional income. We look for people that are motivated. We look for people that are prepared to put some effort in, roll up their sleeves and do some work. It's not complicated. You don't need to be a genius to build a business, but you do need some qualities. You need to be able to goal set. You need to be able to plan. You need to be able to work with people in your group to help your people. You need to be coachable, but it's not complicated. If we follow the instructions, it's not complicated. Thanks, Stevie. So this is an interesting slide. What this really refers to is that when you build a business like this, if you've never been involved in a business like this before, it can be a little bit of an emotional roller coaster. You enroll somebody, they open their account and you get really excited. And so your emotions are very high. And then 2 days later, they've spoken to somebody who says, oh, that'll never work. And they, burst their bubble and they're gone. And so you go down to the bottom and you go up and you go down, you go up and down, you go down, you go up and down. And that's the first week. And it's going to be an emotional roller coaster and it'll be hard work. work. The way you build a business like this is emotionally neutral. Neutralize it. It's just a matter of sifting through the process. Some are going to build it, some aren't. Some are ready to go now, and some might be delayed. But it's just a process. Learn to discipline the disappointments of building a business like this, and build it emotionally neutral. Avoid the mountaintops and avoid the valleys. They're both imposters. I've learned over the years just to build this methodically, persistently, go through be consistent and persistent over a period of time, and it has to work. If you contact enough people, you will find the key people. I don't think there's ever been a better time in the history of this industry right now. I spoke to a gentleman today in Melbourne who had a very, very large business, and it's been decimated because of the restrictions down in Victoria. And I don't doubt there's going to be thousands of people just like him forced into the looking zone because he's been effectively wiped out. He was doing a very large business. He's 54. Anyway, I won't go down that track, but there's a lot more people now looking, I think, than ever for an opportunity. And what we bring to the table is massive potential with no risk. $60 is your financial, and yes, some time, but it's a business. You can build it part-time. Part-time, by the way, is 8 to 15 hours per week when you start. Thanks, Stevie. 3 types of people you'll come across: red apples, green apples, and rotten apples. Doesn't mean to say they're rotten people. They're just not on the looking zone. We look for the red apples. What I found in life is that, monkeys will attract monkeys, produce monkeys, fish will produce fish. Red apples, those people that are ambitious, motivated, entrepreneurial, beat to a high drum, have high energy, expectations are high, belief in this technology and see the opportunity. They're high, they're excited about this. They energize and they draw other red apples in. It's the law of attraction. You will attract who you are in life. So that's why fish produce fish, and there's principles and law. The green apples are possibly ask some questions, and that's fine. They've got questions, no problem. We've got information that'll help you to understand this technology better. And then the rotten apples, they're no, people that they're not looking. That's fine. And oftentimes when I have a conversation with people, my question is, are you open to looking at other income options? And if they're not, that's fine. They're not ready to look. That's fine. I'm not going to make them. But when you take a business like this to market, you're going to get all of these. You're going to get rotten apples. You're going to get red apples and green apples. Of course, we look for the red apples. The red apples are the multipliers. These are the ones that will build. So a red apple will find red apples. It's the principle of how a business like this works, and in fact, how life works. That red apple will attract red apples. And then those red apples will attract red apples. And so you end up with a business like this, where you have leaders on leaders, and leaders find leaders, and leaders find leaders. Now, there is a process to this. So it's not like you'll go and just contact 20 people and they'll all be a red apple. And if you're able to do that, then I want you to come and teach me how to do that, because after all the years I've been in the business, that's not, I've never been able to find out how to do that. I have to, probably like you, go through the sifting process to find the right people, to find the board of directors, to find the people that are prepared to put the effort in for the result. And it's a process. It just is a process of, communicating and learning to communicate. What we really do in a business like this is exactly that: communicate and educate, communicate and educate. We don't sell. This is not about selling people into a business like this. It's really about communicating and educating people about the potential of this, and getting to understand, helping them understand the significance of this breakthrough, the potential that we have, because it's so protected by patents. We have this unique opportunity. Thanks, Stevie. We have a webvention for those of you who are interested in developing this as a business. You want to speak to the person that invited you. This is a webvention, normally a convention. This was actually the 10th anniversary of this company, but because of the COVID, we can't meet. We were supposed to meet in Anaheim in California. But in this webvention, you will have access to some of the biggest and top builders of ASEA in the world. Some of the best leaders. And the way you build a business like this is to align yourself and learn from people that have already done it, And I used an analogy the other night. If you're walking through a minefield and you can see footprints walking through a minefield in front of you, it'd be a very good idea if you walked in those same footprints. And it's exactly the same with building a business like this. If you kind of look at this and say, well, I've never done it before, well, then find somebody and work with somebody who has, and walk in their footprints. Let them guide you, let them coach you. They have a vested interest in helping you to be successful, exactly the same way that you have a vested interest in helping other people that you introduce to be successful. So you have a vested interest in helping others. Zig Ziglar used to say, helping other people get what they want, you'll get everything. Absolutely. That's exactly how a business like this works. Misunderstood by many, but that's exactly how it does work. Thanks, Stevie. So what now? So call the person that invited you and help us, join us in the business. As I mentioned before, you can open your account with $60. So it's not complicated. You don't need to be a multi-millionaire to build a business like this. We do look for people that have three qualities. Number one, they have a vision, a reason, a dream, a purpose, something they want in life they can't get doing what they're doing. We look for that. We look for people who are coachable. We look for people that are prepared to learn and understand this is a process. And thirdly, we look for people that are prepared to put some work in. You know, this is not get rich quick. This is a business that could create an incredible income, an incredible lifestyle. Many of us are very blessed to have an incredible life, an incredible lifestyle from developing and hoping to take this to the market. You can do that too. You know, we're happy to help you and teach you and coach you how to do that, but you're going to have to put some effort in. And as we all do, it's a business. It's going to take some effort. So I thank you for your time. I hope it's been helpful to you. I hope that we will look forward to having you join us on this incredible journey with this great company, this great technology. It's been my pleasure to share with you and this evening, and I hope it's been helpful, and I hope I didn't take too much time. I've gone 55 minutes. It's a little bit longer than I would like, but I hope it's been helpful. So thank you very much for your attendance, and I'm going to pass you back to Stevie. Thank you, Stevie, for hosting. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Swordmaster, for that awesome presentation. Doesn't matter how many times I see you do it, I learn something new every time. So thank you for giving me this front row seat and spending the time with us. And thank you all out there for spending the time with us too. You know, your time is incredibly valuable, and we can't refund that to you. But I feel like Malsword has definitely given you some value in return. I really, truly hope you feel the same. And we really, truly want to help you. At the very least, to live healthier, younger, stronger, better. But we'd also love to help you become more. So if you're looking for a better lifestyle, better income, better opportunity, then go out there and better many, many other people's lives, and your life will become better. And you can do that with ASEA. So thank you very much for joining us here. Get back to the person who introduced you. They don't care what the time is. They're just looking forward to hear from you. And you take care, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much again, Mr. Sword, and we'll see you soon.